All right, thank you guys for listening. This is the Arrows Podcast. Today we've got Nethanel Pokorny on. He is our CPA. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about getting your business started and maybe some better financial decisions that you can make.
Well, first off, Nethanel, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know a lot of our audience are business owners or entrepreneurs themselves, and the finance and accounting aspect of the running the business was the most foreign to Quinn and harrowing for Quinn and I. And so having your guidance through the past couple of years has been like really huge for us to just like not die,
as it were.
So this is really good to get you on the pod, especially as we go into tax season. Quinn, do you have anything to add about just like what it's like to work with an actual accounting professional, like as an operations person?
It's been great for me because again, I'm the operations person that keeps all of our paperwork and whatnot together. So it's nice to have someone to actually send them to that knows what to do with them instead of just having them collect on my desktop and be in a panic every year. Yeah. So that's been the biggest difference for me personally on my side of the business, is having a CPA just to advise us too on how to run certain parts of the business has been super valuable.
Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to first give Nethanel his flowers before we even start this, and just like, but do you want to kind of introduce yourself, talk to us a little bit about your firm and what you guys specialize in, and how did you even get into this world?
Yeah, this will be my start of my 8th year in accounting, doing taxes, bookkeeping, payroll, and basically just got started from getting hired by a friend's uncle that needed somebody to work at his firm. Typically accounting firms don't have the best exit strategies, so they're needing people to bring up and come up underneath them to take over. And so I kind of started working for a small firm just like this one, and just got to learn the ropes and from all sides of the business, just getting in depth of not just taxes, but like bookkeeping, 1099s, payroll, all of that. And so that was just a really good start to get a depth of understanding in a broad area of subjects. And then there was tax involved with that too. And so basically my firm started August 2021, and so we're new firm, but been doing this for 7 years. We had lots of clients that need help with doing their books, doing their taxes, and so we want to be able to do that so our clients can focus on what they do best, because taxes and bookkeeping and payroll isn't why they got into business at all.
I would say for us, the answer would be hell no, it wasn't.
Maybe a reason not to go into business.
Yeah. If anything, it's a deterrent.
Right, exactly.
What are some of the most common financial mistakes that you see business owners making? Maybe to narrow it down a little bit, like let's start maybe like in the beginning stages when they're first starting, and then maybe kind of like in a situation where maybe Quinn and I are at, like maybe 6-7 years down the line. Like, what are some common mistakes that people make at both of those stages that you see?
Yeah, I'd say definitely starting out, there's a difference of how you pay taxes being self-employed as opposed to being an employee. And so it's not something that you're necessarily even budgeting for off the bat. And so I see a lot of folks who are newly self-employed that just get hit with the big old tax bill right off the bat. And it's like, oh, hey, great. This is what I get. This is so rewarding, paying Uncle Sam. But so that'd be one of the first things that I've seen folks do. Usually it's, you crush it right off the bat, and then you're just having a hard time paying your taxes, and you're just kind of in a hole from the beginning. So that can be tough. And so, we definitely suggest folks set aside 25-30% of the gross income, because that's just going to help you pay taxes and, hopefully be able to fund some retirement as well, because you really got to budget for those things, and it can be a big bill. Some of the other things too is just not being organized. it can be, we are here to help you, but at the same time, we can only do so much for you. So there's record keeping is important. And then just not tracking your expenses well. And so if you're just going out spending money, you're not keeping track of where it's going, what you're spending money on, it can be something that could come back to bite you, just because you just don't know where it went. And so you got to know where your money goes, and just make sure you're keeping track of that for sure.
And what about further down the line, like once businesses are 5 years or so, is there any mistakes you've seen that maybe things they did early on but haven't adjusted since they've grown?
It may not seem like a financial decision, but a financial mistake could be trying to do too much and trying to, there's so much temptation when you get out there in any line of work to try and do more than what you might should be doing. And so there's a lot that you could be focusing on and making your niche. There's plenty of opportunity for people to just find a niche and stick with it and then just crush it. Having too broad of a scope of offerings of what you're going to be offering your customers, or you've got customers that are just on two ends of the spectrum, and it could just be you just got to tighten that spectrum up.
One thing too that people might overlook is having a solid financial strategy in place. Mm-hmm. Can you speak a little bit to the importance of that as businesses are first starting out?
Absolutely. Needing to have a solid plan with this goes into even just kind of forecasting what your expenses might be or what income you might expect. And some advice I have on that is just expect your expenses to be double and your income to be half, because things you're going to have to pay for you didn't realize you're going to have to pay for. There's insurance for this, there's software over here, and so expenses are gonna come crawling out of the woodwork.
I'm just over here just like trying to contain my laughter, because the amount of times Quinn and I just like hopped on a call in maybe a 4 out of 10 panic of like, wait, what the F was that? Like, why do we need that? Oh, that's like super essential to our business. Okay, cool.
Good to know.
Damn, sucks.
Moving forward.
Oh, it was $800. Chill. All right. But yeah, you're right. Like, they just kind of creep up on you, and you just don't even see if you don't even know what you don't know, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. What are like the best ways that business owners can keep track of the expenses that they can see in the cash flow? Like, what are some best practices that you would suggest?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good software out there that helps you track your expenses, helps you categorize it, and there's even automation involved, and so that you're not necessarily having to manually enter transactions into the software. It's just automatically hit the accounting software when it hits your bank account or your credit card account. And so that's one of the more efficient ways I've seen that business owners can do to help manage and keep track of everything. And so the QuickBooks, I mean, I don't get paid by QuickBooks to say this, but they are
You're
awesome
not a QuickBooks influencer?
Not an influencer, no.
Tough.
But their online, QuickBooks Online, is phenomenal for being able to track expenses, track income. You can create reports out of it real easily. You can easily share it with an accountant, so you can have someone who knows what they're doing look at it and then clean it up all nice and pretty for you to go in there and look at it. And so that'd be my best way to track the expenses for sure.
Awesome. What about as far as taxes are concerned? Because I know that's a big stressor for small businesses too. Mm-hmm. What are some tips you have for just managing tax season for smaller businesses or newer businesses?
Yeah. So this is an area where, especially if you're becoming self-employed, I would try and find an accountant, someone who will help you prepare the tax return, because they can pay for themselves by helping you find deductions that you didn't think you could deduct. The number one question I always get is, can I deduct this? And so an accountant's going to help you very easily say, yes, you can write this off. No, you can't write this off. We often tell our clients that the question shouldn't be, can we deduct this? It's, how do we make it a tax deduction? And so we'll basically say, we want your we want you to consider your dog to be your security and cat to pest control, but that kind of gives you the mindset of things that you could be deducting. It's the low-hanging fruit is trying to find things that you're paying for already, not create new tax deductions by just going and spending money to save taxes. And that even goes back to one thing that I've seen an error I've seen people make is just spending money to save taxes. And that's not a good way to go. If you already have a car and you don't need a second car to save taxes, so don't go buy another car.
It's not saving money. You're like still spending money.
Yeah, you're spending money. You're saving taxes, but at the end of the day, you're still out money, and now you have a car you didn't need.
You save taxes on a car you shouldn't have spent money on.
Exactly.
So you're still net down. Yeah,
exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly. Tax accountant will help you save taxes.
You kind of touched on this earlier just now, but what are some of the benefits of outsourcing to an accounting firm like yourself?
There's definitely benefits to outsourcing because it'll get done, because there's a difficult part where bookkeeping or payroll, some of this stuff falls by the wayside. It can become just an I love you that your spouse may do for you. I've seen that more than once, that the spouse of a self-employed person does the bookkeeping, and that's not necessarily something that you want to, you could save your marriage or save your relationships by outsourcing. So it's not necessarily, you can look at it that way, but so it'll get done well. And then it just gives you another person to make sure things are being taken care of. It just kind of grows your team to some extent too. That the downside is you have less of a pulse, perhaps, unless you're intentionally going in and making sure you're looking at all of the transactions. Some people don't necessarily need to go in and see all the transactions. They know, hey, we had X amount of dollars come in last week, or I spent this much. They kind of just know, have it in the back of their head. But some people need to go in and just kind of see the money that's going out the door, the money that's coming in. So that'd be a downside, but it's easily mitigated by some sort of monthly looking at the numbers, looking at the transactions.
Yeah, we encounter something similar, like on the marketing side. Like they just give the social media to like their 16-year-old daughter or something that's like really good at TikTok, which, shout out to them. Like they should come work for us, honestly. But like, it's like one of those things where they might just think it's something someone not a professional can do and can get away with it. But you're sacrificing like the quality of knowing that it's getting done properly, right?
Right.
I'm sure you, as a newer business, you had kind of a crash course in uncertainty the last few years. What are some decisions that business owners can make to make informed financial decisions during those uncertain times?
Yeah, so part of that just comes with having some gray hairs, just having experience living through a recession or two, and some of us young people have already lived through a couple, and we're not that old. So, but also just kind of having some people in your corner, building a good team of people that can talk you off a ledge when maybe the stock market's going down, and it's just like, okay, no, we've got a plan, stick to the plan. Or just having folks that have done taxes for a while, know how Congress works and how government works. And so, I mean, there's no way to truly predict the future in any case, but there are signs and signals that trained and experienced people can know. So I would just say have a good team around you, people that know what they're looking at and what's coming.
Can you discuss the role of forecasting when it comes to budgeting? Because that is a little bit of like trying to plan ahead or trying to plan for these cycles. Like,
you got to have some grasp on what's coming forward. You have to plan for, changes in insurance or, increased labor costs. And so it is important to come up with something. It's not, the goal isn't to try and be as exact as possible. The goal is to just try and come up with something that will help you make decisions. And so it's kind of just a guide for you going forward. And then it could also provide an opportunity for you to just see how you're tracking. Like, hey, income's not as high. Maybe you need to hustle a little bit and go out and hustle. And then, hey, we're spending money over here. We were going to be paying this, but are we getting out what we thought we were getting? And is there a way we could potentially reduce that cost and look at it? And so, one of the things we'll tell our clients to do is at least once a month have a particular expense that you look at and review and just see, hey, how are we tracking with this? Like, for example, February could be rent, or, for me, I'm in a building, I pay rent. I could just say, like, okay, when's the lease up? Do we like where we are? Should we, prepare to renew? Not think about it when the renewal comes along. You're just thinking about it in advance. And then it could be something in the summer. Summer is a good time for software renewal for my tax software. It's like, am I happy with this software? Is there something that I could do to perhaps get it a little bit cheaper because we're not using a part of it that we thought we would, but we're paying for it? Something like that. Just not review every expense every month. Pick some of your top 10, 12 and assign it a month. All right, January, I'm going to look at this. February, I'm going to look at this. March, I'm going to look at this. And then just kind of use that so you have something that you're looking at and you're not just assessing all of them all the time, because it's not always the best use of your time.
Man, we should do that. We should do that.
Yeah, we should probably do that instead of just like staying up
that's
really
great
late.
advice.
Yeah, it's just like 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, is rent good? Oh shit. Okay, cool.
Well, speaking of, there are a lot of red flags that we ignored early on in our business venture. What are some financial red flags that you think business owners should be aware of? If someone's looking for an accountant or bookkeeper, what are some red flags there?
I can easily speak to red flags with accountants because a lot of people are refund shopping, is what we call it. That's not what you want. You're not trying to find the highest refund. So if you find an accountant that's advertising themselves that will get you the highest refund, it's like, yeah, I could do that too, but it's going to be wrong and illegal. So
That's hilarious.
And so how about we focus on quality? This is an area that you want to focus on quality to make sure that you can sleep at night and you're not going to have the IRS come in knocking on your door. And so, that'd be a red flag, I would say. Just trying to find a quality accountant that's going to do it right, but they're going to also take advantage of the gray areas in the tax code, because there are gray areas.
What about some green flags when you're looking for an accountant? What are some things that people should look out for?
They should be able to explain things well, speak human, what we say, because, the tax code is in English, but it's not English when you read it. Having an accountant that can actually explain and answer your questions in a way that you understand so that you're comfortable with what's going on the tax return is an important piece. It's not always the easiest thing because accountants are stereotypically not the most social or good at communicating. But I'd say if you can find someone that can explain things well, then that's a good thing for sure.
Awesome.
In an accountant.
Well, that's all the questions we have on the accountant side. I always like to finish out the podcast with like 2 or 3 kind of like fun questions. Mm-hmm. What's a purchase in the last 6 to 8 months that you've made that's $100 or less that's like really changed your life potentially?
$100 or less.
And Quinn, I haven't asked you this yet. Mm-hmm. So you have one.
You already know my answer. It's Hogwarts Legacy, dog.
Relax.
Kidding me? Changed my life.
You're crazy. Nathaniel?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't spend money at all.
Hey, that's a green flag for your accountant.
Yeah. Sandbags to keep my garage from flooding.
Practical. There you go.
Utilitarian.
There you go. Because it was super rainy out here, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Okay. Shout out to those sandbags. How much were they?
$87.
Boom, dude. Okay, cool. The
price is right.
The price is right.
The price is nice. think it's probably the first time anyone's ever said shout out to sandbags on a podcast.
Yeah. Brand new sentence right there.
Yeah, that's never existed before. Okay, so imagine you have this like big billboard. Millions of people are gonna see it, but you get to put like what you want up on the billboard. Like,
I mean, is the goal that I get more clients?
Bro, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
at
matter.
all?
It's, you have access to the most widely seen piece of marketing of all time.
And I just want people to know something.
It could be an altruistic message. It could be
a meme.
It could be a meme. Whatever you want. What would you put if you had that chance?
If you guys seen it's I think it's a Mad TV bit with Bob Newhart, and he's a psychiatrist. So he has 2 words of advice for anyone who comes into his office. It's just stop it.
That's gold. Man, that probably would solve a lot of problems.
just 2 words.
Stop it.
Period. Bet.
I love it.
Well, Quinn, if you don't have anything else,
yeah.
Nethanel, thank you so much for being on our podcast. You've been a great resource for our business. I hope anyone that like listens to this or sees our clips reaches out to you if you need more if you are looking for more clients. This fool is busy though, so just he's a picky boy right now, so you never know. But if you want to look at that camera real quick and then just say like what's the best way to reach you in case people want to reach out and then pick your brain or whatever.
Sure, yeah. No, best way to reach me is to reach out to our firm. You can go to our website, pokornycpas.com, Pokorny CPAS. There's a web link there that you can send us a comment or a message, and we'll get those and respond appropriately.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys for listening. On behalf of Quinn and Josh, look at that camera. This is the Eras Podcast. Thank you guys.